Welcome back, guys, to another episode of the Sports Syllabus Show. I'm your host, John Chacota, and I'm joined by
Luke Young.
And today, guys, we're going to do I just did a March Madness special for my other podcast, and today we're going to do it today. So we'll kick it off. Round of 64, very eventful. Got to know, what was your setup? How many games did you have on at once?
For the round of 64, I had 4 on, I think. I had 3 screens on my laptop and then 1 on my TV, so I had the most, or the game I wanted to watch the most on the TV, and then that kind of just rotated throughout the day. But yeah, it was a great day for basketball. People were mad. There weren't that many upsets. McNeese was like the only one.
Yeah, I agree.
But
even then, like, a lot of people, and then technically Drake then too, I guess, if we're considering like seeded upsets.
Yeah, but those weren't like popular. People were picking those a lot.
Exactly.
Like earlier in the week, and analysts were saying those are the ones you want to look for.
Yeah.
So it's not like last year where we had like Golke just go off against Kentucky.
Yeah, which was awesome.
Yeah. So it's nothing like that. People were kind of mad about that, which is understandable. But for me, I liked that kind of because it sets up the second day games, or the second round games, to be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Because we have 2 really good teams playing against each other. So yeah, I had a pretty good day for basketball.
Yeah, I did too. I really liked UC San Diego, and you know, you guys will be hearing from UC San Diego relatively soon, and I'm just going to leave it at that. I thought they were going to make the comeback, especially with them. I think they got it to 3, right? And then they were leading by 1, I think, right? Mm-hmm. And that was a late game, so I was up watching it. I'm like, wow, because I picked them, I think, to go to the Sweet 16. Yeah, because I was really high on them. I thought they were going to win, and then the UC Wilmington, like, we had a lot of like close upsets that just didn't happen. Mm-hmm. Like UNC Wilmington they were in the game. They were leading for most of the game against Texas Tech. Yale was not in the first half, but kind of got back in. They never really had a lead. And then the one that really blew me away was Vanderbilt. They were up by like, I think 12 at halftime to St. Mary's, and they ended up losing that game, which they were technically the lower seed, but I thought they were a better team than St. Mary's. Yeah. So that was kind of interesting to me. I don't know about you, but
yeah, the big like close upset for me was High Point against Purdue. Yeah. I picked that in one of my brackets, I think, just because Purdue like always finds a way to lose in the first round to a double-digit seed. So I was looking at that, and maybe that could happen again. And they were playing really, really well. They were that first half. And then in the second half, they just kind of fell off because Braden Smith and Trey Kaufman kind of just did their thing. Exactly. Those two are so lethal together. They understand each other so well. The
pick and roll.
Yeah, they understand each other so well. It's like
the thing with, and we'll talk about Illinois later, but the thing about Illinois with Yakin Jonas and Ivisic is it's always a pick and pop. Yeah. With them, it's a pick and roll, and also the difficulty of passes that Braden Smith makes look easy.
He's unbelievable.
Like those ones where there was one where there was like a defender here, and he puts the ball right in between their legs, which is like, dude, come on. You know what I mean?
I hate Purdue, but he's probably one of my favorite players to watch.
I do. I do not like Purdue at all. Yeah. But I very do much. Like, he's just you know what I mean?
He's so fun. He's like a throwback point guard that you like don't see anymore.
Yeah, the fact that he didn't have any offers coming out of high school besides Purdue is kind of crazy. And also, like, if I'm a young player getting recruited, I would want to go to Purdue because
100%.
They've showed and I'm an Illinois fan, so obviously, you know, I don't like Purdue, but they've showed that they can develop players well.
Yeah, for sure.
And another thing that sucks, because we'll kind of talk about now, round 32, Sweet 16, stuff like that. No mid-major teams in the Sweet 16, which is terrible. I mean, like, it's not terrible, but it's not amazing.
Yeah, as people who go to a mid-major school, it kind of sucks to not be represented by at least one person. It feels like every year there's somebody in the Sweet 16, but not this year. I think this year kind of shows that
NIL.
With NIL and the transfer portal, good teams are getting better.
Oh, yeah.
And I think they're a lot less vulnerable than we've seen in past years because they can throw so much money at these athletes where these mid-major teams can't. Yeah. But then also you see teams like Drake.
Exactly. Like Drake, who are just consistently good.
Exactly, and they clearly have a program built there where they can recruit really good guys. I mean, like Sturtz being a D2 guy.
He just transferred to Iowa.
Yeah. We saw that today. The coach of Drake and Sturtz are both going to Iowa.
Yeah, Sturtz officially decided to go to Iowa today.
Yeah, I bet you a lot of that roster is going to go if they can transfer.
Yeah, definitely.
And we'll see if that Valpo big, he
Oh, Schwieger, Carson Schwieger, and then Allright.
Yeah, we'll see if he maybe the Drake coach was like talking to him.
That would be really cool.
The familiarity, that'd be pretty cool to see some MVC guys go to the Big Ten, especially for Iowa. I feel like that's kind of a sleeping giant. I feel like
it is. They haven't been good since Garza.
Yeah,
and even then with Garza, they would always lose in March Madness.
Yeah.
And then I was looking at your screen and I saw another game. That I wanted to talk about. Robert Morris.
Yeah.
Robert Morris, sorry.
Morris, yeah.
I thought they were going to win. I really did. I thought they had it.
Yeah.
I had that on my TV. It got elevated. That's how you know we mean business. When it got elevated to the TV, that's how you know it was big. I thought if they won, that would have been awesome because I don't like Alabama at all.
Yeah, I was just looking at the score for that game for most of it. It was on my smallest screen on my computer. I was like watching them like, man, Robert Morris is only down like 3. Man,
exactly.
Down
Why
4.
are they in this game?
All right, I better put this on the TV.
I think they were leading for a little bit, too, in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
But then Alabama, once they put Grant Nelson in it,
that was interesting. I had no audio on my computer, so I couldn't hear the announcers talking about Nelson. I was like, is he okay? Is he out for like just this game? And like they clearly were very, very patient with him.
So what they were doing, Nate Oates said at the end of the game, he was like, we were not trying to play him.
Yeah.
This round, we were trying to wait till, I think, 32 and then play him.
Yeah.
But since the game got so close, they kind of had to play him. I think that Alabama might lose in the Sweet 16 though.
Yeah.
Just because they've kind of been. I mean, St. Mary's I don't think was a great team,
Uh-huh.
but the fact that they got tested that much by Robert Morris, and this is not a shot on Robert Morris. They're one of the better mid-major teams, but you shouldn't be. How much did they win by?
They only won by 9.
You shouldn't be beating Robert Morris by 9 if you're Bama and you have Mark Sears. Grant Nelson.
Philon.
Yeah, Philon.
Philon is so good. One of the most underrated freshmen in the country.
Oh, definitely.
He's so good.
And then Cliff Amorie.
Yeah.
Is that how you say his name?
Mm-hmm, I think so.
But yeah, great. It was an okay round to 32 or round to 64, and then round to 32 is, I think, like we didn't see a lot of upsets, but overall just a really great round.
Yeah.
Obviously, Derek Queen saying, "All right, give me the ball, coach. I'm gonna." The crazy thing to me about that is that he called bank, or well, he didn't call bank, but the fact that he used bank and won that, it's just like, dude, what? Like, being a freshman, being the biggest game of your life,
freshman sensation,
and then hitting bank shot for your state school because he's from Maryland, so
Baltimore,
hitting that, it's just crazy, and the confidence he has to have to just go. They said he went in the huddle, said, "Give me the ball."
Yeah, I mean, no, this freshman class is just absolutely sensational. Like the top 5 right now projected: Flagg, Harper, Edgecombe, and
Bailey.
Harper, and then Bailey.
Yeah.
Or Edgecombe,
Queen,
and then Bailey. That's a pretty really good top 5 right there.
Last year, I felt like we didn't have a great freshman class.
No, the class last year.
McCain was probably the highlight, and no offense to
Castle.
Jared. Castle.
Shepard, all those guys. It's a lot more international last year for the draft.
Exactly.
This year's like loaded with college people, which is awesome.
Gosh, yeah. Especially for college basketball. When we kind of thought college basketball was starting to go down with people picking it.
Yeah. Because we saw the LaMelos, the Jalen Greens.
Exactly.
They decided to go overseas or play in the G League, but now that they have NIL in college, they can get paid while also like representing a school, which is a win-win, I think.
Exactly, because like I love the reason why, and I'll stand by this, even though this is a hot take. The reason why I'll stand by this take that I'm about to say. You don't see the amount of pride that people put in college basketball that you'd see in NBA.
Yeah,
like the amount of pride and passion that people have in NBA in college compared to NBA game atmospheres. It's a whole different level. Like, yes, I know we go to Bradley, but when we have those big crowds, I'm thinking specifically of that ISU game. It's hard to beat that.
Yeah.
And that's why I love college basketball more than the NBA, just watching it. And I know that's a terrible take probably to some people, but I stand by it.
I agree with that. I'm an NBA guy.
Exactly.
NBA is like the thing that I pay attention to, not like during this time of the year the most, but like all around the year the most.
Yeah.
And I think as a college student now I can understand.
You have more
because,
investment. Yeah.
Like as a college athlete, you're walking around the campus, you see the people that it affects, and when you're playing the games, I think it like stays in your mind. All the people that like you see in class, they all like are rooting for you, and it's like I don't know, like the arenas are a lot smaller.
Exactly.
People are a lot more invested in you, and I think it's just a lot more motivating.
Exactly.
Even with NIL, I don't think that's just the main motivation. Maybe it is for some people, but I think the origins of playing good for your school is still there for college basketball.
No, definitely. And I think that speaking of NIL, that's what's going to ruin the mid-major stories, I think, this year or in the coming years is we were just talking skirts.
Yeah.
He's at a Power 4 now.
Yep.
And we're going to have these guys who – and I think we'll have this same thing with Bradley here. We have Dietrich Richardson coming in. If he's as good as advertised, he'll be here 2 years, probably transfer for NIL.
Yeah.
And it's not saying that, it's awful, but that's just what the world we live in. A school like Bradley cannot compete with a school like Illinois or Iowa or Michigan State. They can't compete with those big schools because they don't have the money. Mm-hmm. Which stinks. It's going to be a lot rarer and harder to find these kind of upset teams, these Drakes of the world, these McNeeses of the world, these High Points of the world, these UC San Diegos, these Yales. You're not going to be able to find them because all of those star players are not going to be on the team. Like when Oral Roberts beat Ohio State that one year, and the fact that they got Max Abrams to come back at Oral Roberts for another year was crazy to me because that dude, I think, averaged 20-something.
He was averaging 25, I'm pretty sure. I think he led the nation in scoring 2 years in a row.
Exactly. If that was this year and they went to the Sweet 16, he'd be gone like that.
He did transfer to Texas.
Yeah, he did. That was his last year.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is the fact that he was able to come back for another year for a mid-major, you're never going to see that again now.
Yeah.
You're never going to see the top player for a mid-major team, if they make a March Madness run, he's gone. He's gone. You can sign the waivers. That's why, especially for schools like us, that's why you kind of that I would say, and this is a very, very not sort of true, but also true, where it's you want to go to the tournament. Obviously, you want to try to win the tournament.
Yeah.
But you don't because there's a chance you lose your best player.
Yep.
And schools like us, it's hard for us to find these great recruits to come to us because we're a smaller school.
Yeah.
So that's what I kind of think about NIL in college. Obviously I think they deserve to be paid.
Yeah.
And all of that. I just think it's going to ruin the sort of madness in March.
Yeah, I was talking to my dad over spring break, and we were talking about how the mid-major teams have kind of become a farm system.
Yes. Oh, that's a great call.
Almost like a lot of the really good kids, not the top 100 freshmen or top 100 or top 50 high school players will still go to all the big schools because that's just how it'll always be like that.
Exactly. It's never going to change.
A lot of these good 3- and 4-star recruits will start looking at mid-majors to go there. They're going to put up some good stats. They might win their conference and go to the tournament and get to show on the national stage, and then they're going to get a bag from these SEC or Big Ten teams. And that's kind of just like these coaches at these bigger schools will stop recruiting these freshmen and just start looking at the mid-major or the smaller teams and if we get that player into our system, can he be kind of like a freshman?
Exactly.
Getting into our system, but with more experience, has played at this level. Can he be good? And I think the transfer portal is good for somebody like Sturts, for example, who
was under-recruited.
Yeah, under-recruited, went to a D2 school.
Transferred.
Probably matured a little bit later, developed a little bit later than most people, and now we can see him. He cooks Missouri. Yeah. And then has an okay game.
The one-legged three-pointer.
Yeah. People were commit. Yeah, that was unbelievable. We watched him in Arch Madness. I watched him twice or 3 times in person, and I was like, dude, this guy's unbelievable. What is he doing in the MVC? Exactly. So I think it's good for guys like him to be able to get an opportunity at a bigger level. But I think the sad part of the transfer portal is you heard the story about the old Miami coach. He quit in the middle of this year. Yeah, because his team went to the Final Four, and then 7 of his rotation players asked him to what they were going to get paid, and they said basically, if you pay me this amount, I'm going to leave. And he was like, I just can't do that anymore. So I think you can see this tournament reflects both positives and the negatives of NIL and the transfer portal.
I totally agree with that. That's a great take. I kind of want to talk now about Sweet 16 picks.
Yeah.
And just kind of who you're
my bracket actually.
Who you're riding with.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily because both of our teams. We're not going to really talk about both of our teams because they were just really, just in general, terrible games for both of our teams.
Yeah.
But who are you kind of riding with right now?
So for this bracket, this is a bracket. This is my online bracket. I should have just stuck with one and done it for all the groups that I'm in, but I'm in 2 paper brackets,
St. John's winning. That's rough.
Yeah, so I had St. John's. This is one of the best brackets I've ever made outside of the fact that I picked St. John's. I'm at 99% right now of the picks. And I'm still ranked 200,000 in the nation on ESPN, and I have St. John's winning. So it's a pretty good bracket for me. But I think my Sweet 16 is pretty solid outside of the fact that I have St. John's.
St. John's the only one you got wrong in this?
Basically, yeah. I think that's the only one.
Oh, you picked Vanderbilt in that one.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, but I had... let's see. I think I had Clemson going a lot farther.
Clemson.
But I think the Sweet 16 I did really well on. But for me, the team I'm looking for in the Sweet 16 now is Michigan State. I really think they can make a run.
They made a big comeback against New Mexico.
I think they're talented enough defensively.
Yeah.
And Jace Richardson will carry them offensively to beat Auburn. I think if Auburn beats Michigan, I think Michigan State has a real shot.
You mean, let's rephrase, when Auburn
I don't know, dude.
Michigan.
I'm really rooting for this Michigan State.
No.
That'd be so awesome.
I mean, it would be cool. I just don't like Michigan. So.
I know, but Michigan State to win the region would be so awesome.
That would be cool. That would. I will admit that will be cool.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. But
and then I got two teams, BYU.
No.
What you know about the Fighting Mormons, and then
I watched them. My favorite team in real time.
Yeah, they did, and then Arkansas.
Yeah.
Arkansas, because they're finally starting to play as Arkansas we thought they were going to be.
You just picked the two teams I'd want to do good the least because I picked St. John's, obviously, and then Wisconsin. So,
yeah. Well, because Arkansas, they finally are kind of playing into that town. I had St. John's too. I'm bitter, okay? I'm bitter in one of my brackets, or in I think two of my brackets. I had St. John's, okay? I'm bitter.
Mm-hmm.
But Arkansas is finally starting to play into the Arkansas that we thought they were going to be this year. They're finally starting to, use the talent. They had more talent and athleticism than St. John's did, and that showed.
Yep, they did.
That's what Calipari does. He brings in talent and athletes.
Yep.
Now, do they always play together well? No. But
we've seen that in the past with Kentucky.
Exactly. But now they're finally starting to hit their stride, and to be honest, if they can play, I think they could beat Texas Tech. I think this is a very winnable game.
I think they can for sure. If they play like that against St. John's, they can hit a shot and they still won.
Exactly.
So,
and
I don't know.
The Florida-Maryland game is a toss-up because, Crab 5. That's, by the way, a cool – that's really cool that we're kind of seeing our version of the Fab 5.
Yeah.
It's the Crab 5. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you see that picture they got with Jalen Rose? That was cool.
So, yeah. Yeah, in my family bracket, I have Maryland over Florida. So we'll see how that works. But I cannot believe it. I'm looking at this now. This is my first time I actually looked at this.
Yeah.
And the only Sweet 16 team I got wrong was St. John's.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah,
that is really rough.
Yeah.
You picked Illinois over Kentucky too.
Yeah.
My guy. I wish that could have happened.
Oh, I guess I got two of them wrong.
But no, I do. I know you don't want me to say this, but BYU is.
They're good. I know that we lost, but I'm a fair fan. I'm not gonna hate them.
No, yeah, I knew we lost to Kentucky. I didn't feel confident about that game, but obviously I'm still gonna watch it.
Mm-hmm.
But no, the fact that they were able to win and they gave up 37 points to Tanjay is a kind of a praise to how good they are offensively.
Yeah, I was telling my dad if you would have told me we win the turnover battle, the free throw battle, and Tanjay is 37, I'm we beat them by 30 then.
Exactly.
But,
because on my other podcast I was kind of breaking that game down a little bit. They had literally every advanced stat sort of the game they won.
Yeah.
I'm how do you lose? They had more free throw attempts too.
Mm-hmm.
It's
the threes, man. They hit BYU hit so many threes.
BYU is a great 3-point shooting team though. And Kevin Young has done an amazing job.
Yep.
Luke Young's long lost brother.
Yeah. Old Suns coach. Yep.
Yeah, he's done amazing, and they're just gonna get better.
Yeah.
He's got He got Diabate and then another 5-star, right?
Yep.
And I think our big reason why is because the NBA experience he has.
Yeah.
The amount of learning that they get from an NBA kind of person, that's why so many people are going to go there, and
they're
going to be
the Suns forever.
Exactly, and they're going to be in this tournament. I think honestly they could compete with Duke if they make it to the Elite Eight.
I agree.
I think Duke will win because Duke is just that good. They should not beating Baylor by almost 30 is insane. Because Baylor is a good team. They were not I think them, Gonzaga, and who else got underseeded?
Creighton and Louisville. I think
Creighton. Creighton and Louisville got underseeded.
Uh-huh.
They should not have been an 8 seed Baylor.
Yeah.
Or were they a 9? 8 or a 9?
Baylor was a 9.
Okay, but still, I don't think they got underseeded, and that was not a 9 seed, and they demolished them.
Yeah.
The 1 seeds, I kind of want to ask you, what 1 seed? All the 1 seeds are still in. Mm-hmm. Which 1 seed are you the most worried for? And I have 2 in my
Auburn
mind
for sure. Auburn.
Okay.
Auburn is the first one for me. I think they have the toughest path. Michigan is a great team.
And then
they have size
possibly Michigan State.
Exactly.
And
They have size that can throw at Broom, and they have pretty solid guards who can play defensively. And then if they beat Michigan, Ole Miss is probably going to lose to Michigan State. Michigan State is the real deal, especially defensively. They're going to stop you from shooting, and they're going to stop you inside. And I think Auburn has the toughest task. A lot of people are going to say Houston just because of the offensive limits.
Yeah,
but
they don't have a Purdue's not a scary team.
Purdue is overseeded, first of all.
Thank you.
Michigan should have got the 3 seed. Wisconsin should have got the 4 seed. Purdue should have got the 5 seed.
Yes.
I don't know why the bracket people, they must have made the bracket before the conference tournament.
It had to have been.
Because there's no way Michigan is a 5 seed and Purdue was a 4 seed, but it's whatever. Houston, I think they will win against Purdue. I think their defense is way too good, and they have the shaky Kentucky team who has their leading scorer hurt versus this Tennessee team who, if Chaz Lanier doesn't have 30, they will not win.
Exactly.
So I can understand why people are saying Houston, but I think they got a pretty good draw.
I think, honestly, and this one might be kind of out of the blue, Florida.
They're so good, though.
They are really good. Walter Clayton is that dude.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
they struggle against UConn.
They struggle against UConn, and Maryland plays a very similar style. They want to play you slow. They play physical. They're a big team. Derek Queen, we talked about him earlier, is probably the best. Second best. I was about to say best, but then I realized, Cooper Flag is, Cooper Flag. I think them, and then if they advance, they have to play Arkansas or Texas Tech. Texas Tech is a great defensive team too,
and they have JT
Toppin, who is disgusting.
Yeah, Big 12 Player of the Year.
Was underrated at New Mexico last year because of Donovan Dent and Nelly Jr. Joseph. And then if they win this game, they got to play them or Arkansas, who Arkansas is a 10 seed, and everyone will just look at the number and be like, oh, this is easy.
But
Arkansas has talent. They have a bunch of 5-star. It's not like they're bums. So I think Florida, just because of that game against UConn and how scary that was for them.
That's a good one. I like that too.
Houston, I didn't believe in, and then when they were able to pull off that win against Zaga, I agree with you. Because I had them losing to Zaga. Because I thought Zaga was underseeded.
So did my dad. And then Gonzaga had that 15-second possession at the end where what's his name?
Battle.
Yeah, it got blocked in the corner.
Yeah.
I was like, well, there goes that.
I felt so bad for him too because he's one of the best 3-point shooting players in the country. He shoots 90-something% from the line. He's really good. But I was really high on Gonzaga, especially with how bad they beat Georgia.
Yep.
I thought they were going to make a run to the Elite Eight, but
Yeah, it looks like there for a second UConn and Gonzaga were both going to take this 8 seed ride and go all the way. But yeah. I think for the Florida-Maryland game specifically, it'll be a contrast of styles. Maryland probably has the best starting 5 in the country.
Definitely.
Or the most consistent. They are not very deep whatsoever.
No.
And then Florida's the opposite. They obviously have a really good starting 5. They have Clayton and all those bigs, but they are deep. They are
very deep. Elijah Martin, does he come off the bench?
I don't know, but they could do line shifts. Every time I watch him, Jay Billis is always doing the game, and he's like, they're the deepest team. They just throw people at you off their bench. And we'll see if Maryland's starting 5 and their 6 and 7 guys have the stamina to keep up with Florida's just attack of just freshness, which I think is a big thing in the tournament. But the contrast, the devil goes advocate to that is March is when you play your guys, and Maryland has those guys. So I just think that I could see this game going both ways.
I agree. I think it's a toss-up. I'm looking at the stats right now. They're eerily similar in literally everything. I'd really like to see how Florida matches up with Maryland's size with Reese and
Florida's huge though.
Yeah, they are, but they're
Florida's
not
big, and they crash the glass hard.
They do. The thing with them is Reese and Queen are big, whereas Florida is big.
Yeah.
So it's will the height overdo the size sort of thing?
Yeah.
So we'll see. This is the game I'm probably most excited for, honestly, in the Sweet 16. Yeah. That or BYU Bama, because
if you like
both of those,
watch that game.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Both of those teams score 90, can put up 90 on anybody.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't promote gambling on here, but if you are over 21, take the over on that game. It's gonna be so free. It's gonna be 95 to 95.
Exactly.
Neither
It's
teams
gonna
will play defense and just going to shoot like
chuck
13
up threes.
Yeah.
Igor Demon is that dude.
Yeah.
So, but that's all I got for today. Luke, you got anything else you want to add?
Nope.
Well, guys, thank you for watching this episode of the Sports Syllabus Show. We hope you guys enjoyed our March Madness special. We'll probably have some, not March Madness specials in the future, but kind of March Madness sprinkled in. We'll probably do a championship preview for one of our upcoming episodes when obviously the championship is there. But yeah, thank you guys. Make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, share this video with all your friends, and thank you.
Thank you.